Don, can you confirm for us the report that we had about the Elgin Center and chickenpox?
Yes, unfortunately, it's true. Mike Atkins, who's a 6'9" starting center for Elgin, has just been taken off the roster simply because he came down with a case of chickenpox at an unfortunate time, and the doctors indicated to us that he should not be near the rest of the kids because of the infectious state of the disease at this point, and furthermore, he shouldn't be in the building. So his mother and father have taken him back to the motel.
What will the doctor do, if anything, relative to the rest of the squad?
Well, I don't think there's much that can be done at this point because Mike was practicing with the team yesterday. He's been in the locker room. He's been in the motel with them. So I think at this point there really isn't much anybody can do. It's just a matter of hoping the rest of the kids have already had them. And from that point, it's all guesswork, I guess.
Well, it'll be Elgin and King coming up. And as we talked a moment with Bill Geist in the first game, and we talked a little bit last week, the three-point play is a subject of comment around high school basketball now. What is your reaction to it? Is there and what is the reaction you're getting from coaches and administrators, et cetera?
Well, I think other than coaches, who are probably about 50-50 on it, I think fans and kids love it. And from my point of view, I think it's a good thing, too. I've gone to some college basketball games this year where it has been a factor, and it's getting to be the 6-foot kid's dunk shot is really what it is. You know, when we see the big kids go out there and slam dunk the ball, the crowd gets into the game, and when those kids throw in the shot from way out there, the crowd gets into that, too. So my personal opinion is I think it'd have a very positive effect on high school basketball.
What about the time clock that goes along with a three-point shot? Do you think there should be a time clock also if they put a three-pointer in?
Well, in my opinion, Frank, there just about has to be. I think it stands to reason that we do not want to get back to where we were a few years ago with teams holding the ball when prior to 5-second counts and those kinds of things. But it just seems to me like if I've got three-pointers, the important thing for you to do is keep the ball away from me. So under those circumstances, I think one has to follow the other, although if the three-point play goes in next year or the year after in Illinois, the shot clock won't go in for a few years because it's an item of expense, and we have to give the schools time enough to budget that money.
You might talk about the distance of the three-point shot in college and how it might be in high school.
Well, at this point, I think it's an agenda item for the NC2A people also to talk about that distance. We're hoping that 19.9 will remain the shooting distance for the NC2A because although there's been no distance that has been directly applied to the high school at this point, that is the recommended distance, and we could change it, but we'd like to stay where the colleges are because we don't want a lot of lines on the floor. Right now, the normal high school court's got volleyballs, got 2 courts sideways, and all kinds of things on it, so it gets a little difficult at times for officials, really, to tell what line they're working with.
If there is a time clock in the high school game, would there likely be change of other rules, for example, the 5-second count?
Well, we're doing some statistical gathering on that last year and this year, and I was just talking to Frank Moran, who does that work for us here at the Assembly Hall, and last year, both A and AA, through the Class A tournament this year, which is a total of 24 games, we have only had 6 situations where a 5-second call could have been made. So it doesn't seem to us as though the 5-second situation is holding anything up. As a matter of fact, kids are aware of that rule. They get the ball going. So I think we could remove the hash marks and get a 5-second count going in the whole front court probably and not really have a drastic effect on the game.
Don Robinson, I know you're in charge of boys basketball, and I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate you on how well this tournament's run and how cooperative everyone is. Congratulations on a fine job.
Well, thanks very much, Frank, but I think if you knew how little I had to do with it, the people here just do a great job. The Assembly Hall people, just outstanding. We come down on Thursday afternoon and just check a few things. Everything else is done for us. It's really well done.
It's a great thrill to be here with these players and coaches and administrators, and we'll be back at the Assembly Hall. But right now, let's pause for these messages. Going against the Maroons of Elgin at 28-2 in our second quarterfinal game of the day. Elgin is 28-2 and won 71-66 over East Aurora in overtime in their super sectional. The Jaguars, the defending state champions in AA, crushed Crane 93-66 in the Public League playoff, with Marcus Liberty scoring 41 points in a phenomenal performance by perhaps the finest player in high school in the nation. And that game is coming up in just a few moments. Right now, right on the court, Jim Albrecht is ready with his guest. Jim?
Thank you, Frank. Landon Sonny Cox is standing to my left. He has one state championship in his pocket. Sonny, no one has won back-to-back championships in Class 2A. Is that one of your motivational factors, or is just getting out of that Chicago Public League a championship all in itself?
Well, we're just trying to win one game at a time. Whoever they put up in front of us, we want to play a good game against them.
You have two freshmen playing. Could you respond to them as far as being freshmen? Everyone around the state looks at them and says they don't play like freshmen.
Well, they don't now. You know, I look at them as sophomores now. And I'm hoping that it won't be long before I'll be looking at them as juniors.
What about Elgin? They had a big man. He's been scratched because of chicken pox. You know that. Will you even tell your team that? Does that make any difference?
No, it doesn't make any difference. You know, I feel bad for the coach because I know that he's worked hard to get here. And I wish he were here, but there's nothing I can do about that.
Marcus Liberty is on everyone's list as the #1 high school player in the country. How do you coach a #1 player? Obviously, he possesses many skills. He works. Some people like to give him a little criticism sometimes, but when you're in the spotlight like that, it's got to be tough. Do you just tell him to avoid all that stuff and go play his game?
That's right. We tell him don't worry about what the papers and the news media say, because when you're doing well, they're with you, and when you're not doing so well, they're not with you. So, you know, we just do what we have to do, and he pays attention to me.
Sonny, your feelings coming down last year and winning it, that gut-wrenching championship game where Rich Central tried to slow it down on you, and then you finally overtook them in the fourth quarter, and approaching it this year. Any difference as your philosophies are concerned? Are you personally a little more loose?
Well, we expect most of the teams to try to do something special against us. And we have prepared for that. We prepare for that from the beginning of the season. We'll be able to handle whatever they throw at us. You know, I think we're ready.
Elgin says they will not slow the ball down on you. Do you prefer either style? Do you like to have somebody come out and slow it down on you? Does that teach your kids anything when they do that?
It doesn't matter. We've played slow games. We've played fast games. All we want to do is win the game.
What about coming out of that Chicago Public League? How many great teams are down there that never get a chance to make it to the Elite Eight? You have been quoted as saying, you know, that's kind of like our state championship.
There are about 8 teams this year that could be down here. That could win it all this year.
Sonny Cox, good luck today in the quarterfinals. We'll see what happens.
Thank you.
That's Landon Sonny Cox, the coach of Chicago King. And now we have the coach of, yes, Elgin. And you have bad news, Coach. First of all, Jim, what about your center? What about losing the 6'9" man?
Well, we found out about an hour before ball game that he had chicken pox, and that's one of the things that you have to go through. Hopefully somebody on our team is going to pick up the slack today, and we have to go back. We wish him the best. We're going to have to win the ball game for him. He's back at the motel watching the game. We're just going to have to go out and play without Mike Atkins today, and I think we can. Our kids are ready for the challenge. We just have to have somebody else step forward.
Personal question. You've been up in these stands for about 10 or 12 years watching this tournament. Never got a chance to get down here. I know you've gotten close, and now you're here, and then something negative happens before you take the floor. Do you ever look upstairs and go, okay, is this like a test or what?
No, the good Lord's been too good to me this year, and it's been a great season for us. And you make your own breaks, and you get some lucky breaks along the way. We just have to go out there today and battle, and we can't make any excuses. We'll be ready to play basketball.
If you were a PR agent, would you put together a sentence for me describing Marcus Liberty?
Best player I've seen all year long. He's just a great, outstanding young man on the floor. Plays hard, fluid, does everything a coach could ask out of a player.
A lot of people think you should slow the tempo. You seem to disagree.
I do. We're not going to do something that we haven't done all year long. We've only been able to prepare for this game for a day and a half, and we're going to try to play. We'll slow it down a little bit. We're no way we're going to hold the basketball, though. That's just not our style of play. We haven't done it all year. I got a lot of confidence in my kids and my seniors, and they've been through a lot, and we're going to go out there and play basketball.
Did you tell your kids anything before coming out to this big spectacle? I know it's hard to calm down a 17 or an 18-year-old sometimes.
Well, we took them to the movie last night, the Hoosiers, and we put it right in place today when we said, okay, now we have another obstacle we have to overcome with one of our players being out. We just said, hey, let's just go out there and have some fun. I don't know how many people thought we were going to get here and what type of season we were going to have, but we won 28 ball games, and we're not going to feel sorry for ourselves now. We're just going to go out there and battle them today.
Did the Hoosiers win?
The Hoosiers, the good guys won. Hopefully we're the good guys today.
Coach, thank you very much. Good luck today. One of your network sponsors is the American Dairy Association of Illinois.
The Elgin Maroons wear warm-up jerseys that say, just say no. These are students against drunk driving and students against the use of drugs, and their entire squad wears those. Larry Nemmers, their principal, brought the idea to Coach James Harrington, and they adopted it, wearing them here at the Assembly Hall as we get ready for this second quarterfinal game of the day between the defending state champion King Jaguars and the Maroons of Elgin. Now we're getting set to meet the players and coaches in this second quarterfinal, and we'll do that in just a moment by going to the public address announcer at the Assembly Hall. Here's Steve Adams.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the coaches and players for this second quarterfinal round game featuring the Chicago King Jaguars and the Elgin Maroons. First, introducing the Jaguars of Martin Luther King High School from Chicago, entering this game with a record of 26 wins and 4 losses. First, let's meet the head coach of King High School in his 6th season with a record of 158 wins and 21 losses, Landon Cox. And now the players. Number 11, a 6'2" senior, Emmett Lynch. Number 15, a 6'2" senior, Keith Calbert. Number 21, a 6'6" senior, Anthony Burwell. Number 22, a 6'8" senior, Carl Anderson. Number 24, a 6'7" junior, Michael King. And number 25, a 6'2" junior, Terrence Cheeks. And now the starting lineup. At 1 forward, a 6'8" senior, number 30, Marcus Liberty.
Some people call him the finest high school player in America.
At the other forward, a 6'6" freshman, number 20, Johnny Selvey.
Selvey at 220 gets 10 rebounds a game.
At center, a 6'7" senior, 31, Richard Smith.
Smith averages 9 boards a contest.
At guard, a 6'3" freshman, number 23, Jamie Brandon.
Labeled in Chicago as their next superstar at 15.5.
And at the other guard, a 5'10" junior, number 14, Carl Stanley.
Ball handler and role player.
Those are the Jaguars of Martin Luther King High School from Chicago. And now introducing the Maroons of Elgin High School, entering this game with a record of 28 wins and 2 losses. First, the head coach in his 2nd season at the school with a record of 47 wins and 9 losses. Here is Jim Harrington. And now the players. Number 12, a 5'10" senior, Corey Johnson. Number 20, a 6' junior, Tony Gilliam. Number 23, a 6' junior, Greg Krogman. Number 25, a 6'1" junior, Mike Montgomery. Number 30, a 6'7" sophomore, Mike Beck. Number 33, a 6'1" senior, Brian Simek. And number 34, a 6'1" senior, Chris Tierney. Tierney is replacing senior Mike Adkins on the Maroon roster. Adkins has the chicken pox and will not play. And now the starting lineup. At 1 forward, a 6'5" senior, number 40, Mark Baugh.
An all-stater averaging almost 25 a game.
At the other forward, a 6'3" junior, number 22, Steve Hinton.
Hinton averaging 7 points and 5 rebounds a contest.
At center, a 6'3" senior, 42, Pat Barnhart.
Big load on his shoulders, playing senior for the 6'9", Atkins.
At 1 guard, a 6' senior, 32, Tim Moritz.
At 20, against Aurora West in the Super.
And at the other guard, a 5'10 senior, 21, Tony Matthews.
Averaging 13.5 points a game.
Those are the Maroons of Elgin High School. And now the officials for this game, Phil Cody of Glen Carbon and Don Cobb of Wood River.
We'll have the tip-off in just a moment. One of your network sponsors is John Deere. Two teams from Cook County match up in this one. Elgin, of course, from the Upstate 8 Conference with an enrollment of 2792. The Jaguars of King, Chicago Public League, enrollment of 1,198. They represent the Central Red Division of that league. King in their black traveling uniforms trimmed in gold. The matchups there on your screen. The Maroons in their white uniforms trimmed in maroon. The matchup in the middle would have been Atkins at 6'9". He does have the chicken pox going into the center to jump. Mark Baugh against Marcus Liberty, and this game is the first one in the defense for the state title at Champaign for the Jaguars. Tony Matthews, the point guard. It looks like King set zone.
Frank, I think it's going to be interesting early to see how much the size disadvantage is going to hurt the Elgin. They're going with 6'5", 6'3", 6'3", compared to 6'8", 6'7", 6'6".
Rebounding will be a big factor in the game, obviously. Barnhart is 42. Skip pass over the zone. This is Matthews outside. The first rebound comes to King. That's 23 is Jamie Brandon. There's Liberty up ahead. First shot for Liberty.
Just like in the St. Joe's game, the All-Stater gets their team off to a good start.
Liberty had 41 points in the last game he played. Here's a long pass down the court to Baugh. Steps in for an easy layup.
King was in a 1-3-1, three-quarter court press, and they spotted an open man underneath the basket. Of course, Baugh is such a great player. He went up, caught the ball, and put it in.
Johnny Selvey is 20, and of course, this is Liberty. A little pop.
It's not a little pop. That was a long pop.
Hello.
Lord.
Hear the murmurs going around the crowd as Liberty drills two in a row. Down on the low block. Elgin gets one up and down. And Steve Hinton put a left-hander home.
Well, I think it's important that Elgin has come right back at him. Show some confidence on the Elgin part.
Marcus Liberty, how is he different this year from last? Here's Jamie Brandon, a bank shot that will not go. Mark Baugh horses the boards for Elgin. The Maroons in transition. Barnhart sets up on the right side. Tim Moritz outside there.
Now, that was not a bad shot for Moritz. He can shoot the ball from out there.
He's a 3-year starter for the Maroons. Stanley, 14 at the point. Downstairs, Selvey barges in, doesn't get it.
See, that's where I think it's tough on Elgin because King's got so many big people that can post up low.
Tony Matthews goes down on those stairs again to Hinton. Barnhart battles the boards, puts up a garbage basket for a deuce.
Great job by Barnhart. See, that's what he does best. He hangs around the basket, picks up those loose balls, and horses it back up.
Really a good job by Pat Barnhart. They double-team Liberty, but it doesn't matter. Little peekaboo pass, and the Jaguars set it up. Stanley at the point. Brandon, the freshman, throws it away. 5:34 to play in the opening quarter. Elgin leads by a pair, and already for King, 6'8". Carl Anderson gets off the bench, 22 on his jersey. Anderson is a super sub.
You take somebody 6'6" out of lineup and put somebody 6'8" back in. That's incredible.
Here's a trap, 1-3-1, three-quarter court. Here's a pass intended for Baugh, but over his head, and Elgin turns it over.
Ritz had the right idea, but not even Baugh could jump that high.
If you just joined us, St. Joe's has already made the semifinals. King, the defending champions in black with the basketball, down 2. Elgin, first quarter of our second quarterfinal game. Frank Bassoni, Jim Albrecht, along with Coach Bill Geist, and a whistle and a foul on Steve Hinton.
Well, Hinton was trying to overplay Liberty. You've got to try to deny him the ball a little bit, and he flashed up, and he just held on to him, and the official caught him.
We don't want to be redundant, but for those of you just coming into the broadcast, Elgin center Mike Atkins at 6'9" is back at the hotel with the chicken pox. He will not play. Lob inside, up and in by Anderson. Carl Anderson posted up right away as soon as he got in, and at 6'8", it was an easy play.
Well, that was a great pass in, and really the Elgin players tried, but they can't do anything about that because of their size.
Barnhart helps bring the ball up. Matthews, good-looking point guard for the Maroons. Here's a high lob to Baugh. He went up and challenged King's Anderson, but couldn't get the ball. Tempo game. This is what King likes. Under the whip and a traveling violation against Anderson.
Well, King likes this tempo. I think Elgin does too, because they've been a fast break pressing team all year. They may feel that if they get the ball up a little quicker against King's size, that they'll be able to get some better shots.
They average, the Maroons, 71 a game. King averages 73. Barnhart is stripped but picks it back up. King has the quick hands. They're still in a zone defense.
Frank, that's a 1-2-2 zone.
There's a pass on the low block to Barnhart. His shot is blocked by Liberty. He steps back in, gets it over to Baugh, but a traveling violation first on the Maroons. The score is tied at 6.
Barnhart was a little intimidated. He took his first shot and got it blocked, and then he shuffled trying to pass the ball off.
Richard Smith, 31, is the center, and he comes in the backcourt to help the ball. Stanley, quick guard at the point. Smith's first shot. Rebound, Brandon. He's off the board. Jamie Brandon averages 15.6 points a game, and King gets the lead by 2. Moritz goes inside, tries to bounce pass. Liberty's got it. Here he comes on the fly. Marcus in the air to Brandon to Liberty. Finger roll.
Great control of his body and the ball coming down court by Marcus Liberty. Nice pass and a good shot.
A quick 6 for Marcus Liberty. Jerry Schnee wrote in the Tribune, ML King High School is not Marcus Liberty, it's Martin King, and the shot by Hinton is down.
Very nice shot fake. He got Liberty up in the air, and he was able to get that shot off.
Hinton was the most valuable player of the state champion baseball team as a sophomore. Stanley was all the way. Rebound is by Anderson. Now on the floor. Baugh picks it up. Elgin's got it. They want to up-tempo the game now. Matthews pushes it to Baugh for the layup.
Nice fast break by Elgin.
Baugh can get the ball in the basket. 25 a game almost. It's 10-10. 3:08 to play, first quarter. Liberty is slapped and fouled by the Maroons. Foul is on Tim Moritz, senior at 6 foot. And 11 for King is Emmett Lynch, who started last year on the state championship team. He's the 7th man essentially this year. Stanley gets a rest. Lynch is a 6'2 senior. He'll throw the ball.
Excuse me, Frank. I think an important key that we can look for in this game is second shots off of King's shots, because when King comes down on offense, they'll make one pass or two, and then the shot's going up there like that. You know, they're going to make some of those, but they're also going to miss some. If the part of their offense is to put it up, miss, and get the rebound and put it back up. So Elgin's got to work real hard to try to avoid those second shots.
8 points by Marcus Liberty, and I don't think Marcus has missed a shot.
No.
4 out of 4 from the floor. And he's got the Jaguars up by 2. Baugh answers.
Baugh has a really unorthodox approach to shooting, doesn't he, Coach?
He sure does. You watch him, and you wouldn't think it would ever go in, but boy, he pours them through.
He's got a quick 6. It's 2.5 to go in the first quarter. It's a tie. There's Anderson inside. He's got a 2-footer. Anderson just reached up and dropped that in the basket for King. And we were talking earlier about high percentage shots. They don't come a lot higher than that.
That was excellent teamwork on King's part.
Look at this zone as the camera gets back in here. The height and arms. Here's Baugh outside, 20-footer. Rebound and running. Emmett Lynch is going to try to go all the way, and he is fouled. Oh, he double dribbled. Nice defense by Tony Matthews, and Lynch commits the turnover. There's timeout now on the court. 1:59 to play in the first quarter. King is leading only by 2. Let's pause for these messages. Chicago King, the defending state champion, is in the lead, but Elgin is right there, only 2 behind. And here's Emmett Lynch trying to get to the basket.
See, right there, he rode the ball up on his hip a little bit, and once it hits the upper part of your leg like that, if you continue the dribble, it's a double dribble. It's a good call. A lot kids get away with that during the season a lot, because sometimes the officials aren't quick enough to pick it up.
Elgin leading in rebounds in the early going, 5-4, and they'll have to do a tremendous job on the boards in a game like this with their mismatch inside.
Well, I know Coach Harrington hopes that continues.
And your score, we're 1:55 to go into the first quarter, 2-3 King zone.
You know, Frank, you made a good point before about this zone, that they're so big and they've got such long arms that it really makes you go way outside to get a shot. Like that was from the three-point area in college.
Tim Moritz rang the bell. The co-captain hits it and ties the game at 14. Elgin hasn't seemed intimidated by King in the early moments. Elgin playing man-to-man this trip. Elgin's got Mike Beck, a 6'7" sophomore in the game, and a foul on the Maroons.
Frank, during that last time out, I was watching Coach Harrington and his squad, and they were really relaxed. I mean, they were not in awe of the Marcus Liberty show yet, and that's, you got to do that. You can't be blown away. You can't stand around and watch it, you know, otherwise you're gone.
They played King in one of the summer leagues. Hinton goes out for the Maroons, and checking back in is Pat Barnhart, the second foul on Steve Hinton. King lobs it in the lane. Baugh picks it off. Elgin's got the ball. Liberty and Baugh all the way for Baugh.
He's quite a player. He picked that ball. What did he use? About 3 dribbles, and he got all the way down court.
60 feet in about 3 dribbles. That's 8 points for Mark Baugh, and Elgin takes the lead in the game as Stanley works against pressure. The sophomore tried to get his hand on the ball. Selby's free low. Didn't get it. Liberty. Who's got the next one? Marcus Liberty. No. Liberty again.
Incredible. See, that's what Elgin can't have. You got to screen out and do, you know, it's easy to talk about it, but they're so big. You know, you can watch it now, I guess, yeah, on a replay.
There's one.
See, when the ball is up there, what you got to do is find somebody and get in front of them. And all they're doing is kind of waving at the ball, trying to get it out of there.
On the 6. Yeah. 6 attempts. No.
Liberty, 71% foul shooter missed with 1 minute.
Frank, that's a good job by King, too. They didn't take for granted the ball was going in the hoop. They stayed up there, and they kept jumping.
Liberty 1 of 2, and King's within 1 as the Maroons come down and set up. So Baugh and Liberty have shown their credentials in the first quarter of play.
Well, what Elgin's going to do now is go for 1 shot. We've got a little under 50 seconds to go, and they're going to...
Will King let them? That'll be the interesting part.
King has got to come out because they're losing, so they've got to challenge him a little bit.
This is Barnhart, guarded by Liberty out on the front court. Steal by King. Stanley's got it. Stanley swirls into the front, and 19 seconds after the start of the holding the ball, King got it. Now let's see what King plays. Liberty comes to get the ball. Remember, he's 6'8" and 210.
See, King's going for 1 shot now, too.
Stanley. King is down by 1, shoots for the lead. There's the clock. King is 26 and 4. The Maroons 28 and 2. This is Stanley with 5. Down. Offensive foul on Richard Smith with 4 seconds. Elgin has a chance.
You know, I like that, Frank. Barnhart at the other end of the court, he was the one who turned the ball over and gave it to King, and down here he makes the good gutsy play by stepping in front of the man and taking the charge and getting the ball back.
He's fighting an injury too. He wasn't expected to start, but of course Adkins, the center, came up with a chicken pox. 3 seconds. 2. Matthews from 20-some feet is good.
It's a great way to end a quarter if you're Elgin.
At the end of 1, it's Elgin over the defending state champions by 3. One of your network sponsors is Country Companies Insurance. The Elgin Maroons have lost only to Aurora East and Chicago Robeson, and they have a 3-point advantage at the end of 1 quarter. Anything surprise you, Coach Bill Geist?
Not surprising, but I'm happy to see, for the sake of a good basketball game, that Elgin is coming out playing and not being intimidated by King. King is playing well. They're not playing as well as I think they're capable of. I think they're kind of feeling the place out right now.
King has the freshman Jamie Brandon out at guard with Carl Stanley. Stanley traveled.
See, this is something that Elgin likes to do. After a timeout or at the start of the quarter, they'll come out in a 1-3-1 trap. And if you're not ready for it, it can surprise you and force you into a turnover like they just had.
Tony Matthews out at the point. Moritz on the right side. That's essentially a 1-4 set. Baugh's on the low block left. Beck, the sophomore, on the other side of the lane. Barnhart in trouble. That skip pass out of bounds.
To refresh some people's memories, Frank, last year King had a dickens of a time in the quarterfinal round, had to win it on a last-second shot to go on to win the state championship, so not that unusual.
King perhaps played as well as they played all year in the public league title game. They really destroyed Crane. Smith missed the shot. Selby goes after it, but the Maroons get it. Tony Matthews on the hunt. Matthews sees the court well, slaps the ball inside. Barnhart steps in for 2.
That was a little bit lucky. It was supposed to go to ball. It was deflected, and Barnhart happened to be in the right place at the right time.
It's Elgin by 5, 7:10 to go in the first half. A little bit of pressure applied on the full court here by the Maroons. Stanley, a good ball handling junior. 5'10" guard. Doesn't even look that tall.
We've got the star of Elgin guarding the star of King right now. Ball guarding Liberty, man-to-man.
There it is in the middle to Liberty. He turns and missed.
Oh,
nice
Lord.
rebound by Liberty. Comes back with a finger roll.
What an athletic play. Great play. Way to stick with it.
His coach, Landon Cox, says he could be drafted into the pros right now. Looks like a 1-2-2 set for King this time down. Matthews is free and doesn't. Elgin by 3 with the ball. They'll need to take good care of it in this game. Baugh had 39 against Aurora East. This is Matthews. That was a legitimate three-pointer in anybody's league, and it missed.
Well, it was a good shot. It just didn't go in.
King tries to get back within 1 now. There's Liberty. He changed to the left hand and shot it. Selvey rebounds, and a foul on Elgin. Johnny Selvey, a freshman at 6'6" and 220. And I've rarely seen a freshman in high school with a body by Fisher like that.
Really?
Freshman at 220, and he is not a fat young man. He's muscular.
He's
6'6".
looks like he could play linebacker for the Bears or something. He's got legs on him, and he's really well built.
His free throw is home. He's a 56% field goal shooter and only a 49%er at the foul line. Their front line averages 32 rebounds a game, and he made them both to pull King within 1. And checking into the game for the Jaguars is 22 Carl Anderson, the 6'8" senior. He's at 210. And he plays a lot of minutes. So Selvey sits down after making a pair. 6 minutes in the first half. Matthews is outside. They go in the middle to Beck. Swiped away by Liberty. Here comes King. In the middle, Liberty. Dish off Smith for 2.
A great fast break. Nice control by Liberty, too.
That's the beauty of Marcus Liberty. Not only can he block the shot, but can he fill a lane in a hurry or what?
6 points in a row by King. Timeout Elgin. 5:40 to play. And now let's take timeout for these messages. King leads by 1. Elgin will need to continue their sparkling shooting at 64%. King has taken the edge in reboundings by 2. They have 1 more turnover, and Elgin's committed 4 fouls to King's 1.
You know, I think an important play just happened just before the timeout, and here we're going to see it. Number 30, Mike Beck is going to get a shot. Now, he's a sophomore. I think they have to go inside a little bit and get some offense to make their perimeter shooting more effective. And he just got it well blocked pretty well, as you can see here on this really nice fast break. But now he's got to come back in, and he's got to, well, now we've got a substitution. Hinton's coming back in for him. But the inside game of Elgin has got to be there, and Beck's going to be a part of it, especially with Adkins out with the chickenpox.
And Coach Jim Harrington was talking about faking with the ball before going up on the inside against these taller Jaguars.
Well, it's obvious that we know we're watching it. It's obvious to him when you're a sophomore out here on the Champaign floor, it's a little bit tougher. So you just keep reminding the kids about that.
Moritz is outside with Matthews, the guards. They try to go inside to Hinton, stolen away by King. King's on a run of 6, and Liberty slings one up off the run. A great acrobatic move to catch it. Now Elgin tries to push the ball up the court. They need the ball in this man's hands, Mark Baugh. He fires from way outside. King's getting every rebound at the moment. Here comes Brandon, 2. Jamie Brandon gives King 8 points in a row and a lead of 3 at the 5-minute mark in the second quarter.
That fast break of Kings can really be devastating. When they get the ball, you have really got to switch from offense to defense quick.
Baugh turned around and got a friendly roll, and he got Elgin back within 1. That's 10 points for Mark Baugh.
Yeah, Frank, I think the ball's got to get in Baugh's hands. It's a little bit more, either for the shot like that or for a good pass off.
Now here's a whistle and a turnover on the Jaguars, and now it'll give Elgin a chance to shoot for the lead.
I think when he caught the ball, his foot was on the out-of-bounds line.
Landon Cox is out of Governor State, 6 years at King. He's had some run. 27-2, 22-6, 22-5, 23-3, 32-1, and state champion.
Well, when you consider the competition he plays, it's even more amazing.
Moritz tried to set up for a shot, covered up. Barnhart gets the ball. Barnhart looks inside. Moritz is in the deep corner, swings around to the lane, has the ball intercepted by King. And the turnovers are hurting Elgin right now, and they get one right back as Matthews picked Jamie Brandon's pocket. 3-on-2, Elgin. Dish off Hinton. And he's fouled before he could shoot. Stanley got him.
You know, a 3-on-2 fast break, they attack King. See, that's what I think Elgin's got to do. If they have that opportunity, take it to him. Here we can see the break. Here's the pass off. And the foul.
Good camera work, and you hit that right on the head, and they are taking it to him when they can. Moritz outside. Not there. Tipped that by Hinton. King throws it way down here, but Matthews is there and intercepts. Carl Anderson threw the ball. Matthews was right in his way. Now it goes into Ball. Let's see if he goes in. He fakes and goes, has the layup rejected. Moritz grabs it and is fouled by Stanley. Second quick foul on Carl Stanley.
I think Elgin's a little bit more aggressive on the offensive boards than they're on the defensive boards. They got to work both ends of the court on that rebound. His ball faked once, got one guy up in the air, and then here comes another player. See, that's a good defense of King. They're all around the basket there, and they're ready. They all can block shots.
They come at you in waves. This is Pat Barnhart, a 6'3 senior, triggers it in. Moritz is 6 foot. Matthews goes to the corner, the baseline. He'll come back outside. There's a double team around Baugh some of the time low. Here's Matthews. Yes. Tony Matthews, the co-captain, coming off an 18-point game in the Super, gives Elgin a lead back. 24-23 there, 3:20 in this half.
This is the half-court trap of Elgin.
Inside, nice block by Baugh as Carl Anderson took it leisurely on the turnaround.
Marcus Liberty's telling him I was open across the lane. If he just flipped it down on the bounce pass, I would have been right there. And as you can see on the left, he was.
Mark
Brandon. Baugh running on the rebound. Is 3-on-2. Elgin. Baugh, 360, wild shot. Liberty's got it. Here he comes at 6'8". My goodness, with the left hand for the deuce.
Is he ambidextrous?
I think he's having some fun out there.
The games people play. King by 1 at 250. Marcus Liberty makes everything so effortless. Matthews tries to answer and miss. Anderson kicks it out. Liberty plays all over the court. He's in the right corner this time for a pop on the wing. He didn't follow his shot. Ball picked it off.
One of the few mistakes he'll make. I think he thought it was down. He started running down court instead of following it up.
Why is Lou Henson smiling? Moritz goes all the way in, has the ball slapped out of his hands and picked off by the Jaguars. Lynch. Liberty for 2. Liberty just ran the court, and Brandon saw him, and King has the 3-point lead.
That's a great defensive play by Jamie Brandon down there who knocked the ball away.
13 for Marcus Liberty. Pick out an adjective. If it's a good one, it works on Liberty. Fox has 2 minutes.
Elgin's doing a nice job slowing it down a little bit. They look a little bit tired.
It's a draining thing to play against people of King's size and agility. Baugh takes the baseline. Liberty throws it back at him. Baugh comes right back and is fouled. Good tenaciousness by Mark Baugh.
Well, he's got to stay with it. And he got one shot blocked, and he got it and went right back at him. That's what he's got to do.
Take a look at the effort by Baugh. Watch Liberty come here. He blocked it with his elbow.
Yeah.
See, the main thing is to stay with it and keep going at him. You can't back off.
Coming to the foul line, Mark Baugh. He led this team in scoring 22 of its 27 games before the tournament on the season. 80% foul shooter missed.
And we have Mike Beck coming back in the game. That's the sophomore.
He's 6'7", and Barnhart will get a rest. Pat Barnhart is 6'3" and 180. His dad played for Elgin, Ken Barnhart. Ball again. This time at home, Elgin's within 2, 27-25. There's 1:46 to go in the first half. And many people didn't think Elgin had a lot of an opportunity to win after they heard their 6'9" center wouldn't play, thought they had no chance, and the Maroons stayed right there. Liberty drops it down beautifully to Anderson.
Just a great pass.
That's the problem. You're so worried about Liberty. He gets up there and he can see the whole court, and he's a great assist man.
I think he can see Montana from where he gets. A minute 22. King by 4 in the first half. Moritz outside. Well, a near steal there by Johnny Selvey, the freshman who came out to get ball.
The thing about King is, Frank, you know, you wait for him to have that 4 or 5 minute run. They had one against Peoria Manual last year in the semifinals that was a sight to behold. That's what Elgin has to worry about, that run.
5'10" Tony Matthews sends the ball into Baugh. He swirls, gets it off and in.
Yeah, see, that's the ball can do that. I mean, that's not a bad shot for him. He loves to get the ball and wheel and deal, and he just has a great sense of knowing where the basket is.
The clock says a minute. You see the one, well, it's a trap on the half court. I thought it was a set 1-3-1 set. Elgin calls this their blue defense. Liberty never in trouble, it seems. Emmett Lynch at the point. Sends it down to Selvey for the layup. Nice pass by Emmett Lynch.
Yeah, it's good patience and a nice pass in and a good power move.
Now,
Liberty gets the ball in the corner. He's two-time. He can just see over everybody. And I mean, how much success are you going to have two-timing him?
Elgin's 4 down, but they're going to try to take the last shot of the half.
I don't think it's a bad move. You know, if they can hit the shot, they're 2 down against King. King's going man-to-man now, so they're not going to let him hold it. I think that's a good coaching move for King.
That's Hinton, 22 out on the front court. He needs help. Matthews comes to the ball. Matthews at 5'10", guarded by Marcus Liberty at 6'8", turns it over. And with 15 seconds to go, King will get the last opportunity perhaps.
See, that's what I mean. It was a good coaching move. Rather than let him sit out there and take that last shot, King attacked him, and now they've got the ball back, and now they've got the chance for the last shot.
3 men line up on the baseline. They lob it into the paint. It's Liberty for the layup. 3 seconds, 2, 1, and that'll be the end of the first half of play. And Marcus Liberty has ignited the Jaguars of Chicago King to a halftime advantage of 33-27. We'll have halftime activities and more in a moment. One of your network sponsors, the American Dairy Association of Illinois. There's your halftime score with the defending state champions in the lead. At the end of the first half, Marcus Liberty has 15 points and Mark Baugh 13, and both of those players have produced the matchup we thought they might.
Yeah, they're both having good games, and I think you're going to see a lot more of that the second half.
You know, one of the things that strikes me is that the Maroons got a lot done in that first half against a team that's a lot bigger, has a lot more opportunity to change the pace, the defenses and all that. King is so agile and big. Liberty can play all over the court. I'm not sure Jim Harrington can feel all that bad. They're still right in this ballgame.
No, I think he feels pretty good now. He's only down 6. Of course, he'd like to be up, but he's only down 6. He's still in the game. The important thing I feel for Elgin is fatigue. With Adkins being out, now he's played 6 players the first half. I don't think he's got any foul trouble, but when you're playing against bigger and stronger people, it takes a lot out of you.
All right, we'll take a look at the 6'5" Mark Baugh on this play and watch his athletic ability here.
It's not too many dribbles. He's covering a long way, laying it up. He's quite an athlete.
Nice control by Baugh on that, and Marcus Liberty, of course, he's such a graceful performer.
Yeah, he's 6'8", dribbling the ball down court like this. You just don't think a high school kid could do this. Makes the nice pass. He sees the court and then keeps on going and just lays it in. It's quite a play. It makes it look easy.
He makes everything look easy. We'll come back at the Assembly Hall in just a moment. One of your network sponsors is John Deere. Chicago King in the lead in the first half against Elgin in a game that has produced some excellent individual efforts for both sides. Jim Harrington at Elgin says he has his best guard combination he's had in 9 years of coaching, and we've had some outstanding scoring. Mark Baugh with 13 points, and Marcus Liberty, as we said, with 15. Anderson with 6 for King. Selvey, Smith, and Brandon with 4 each. The only person in any kind of foul difficulty, Richard Smith with 2. Once again, Liberty doesn't commit a foul in the first half of play. On the other side of the ledger, Mark Baugh, the leader, with 13. Matthews, Barnhart, and Hinton with 4 each. Moritz with 2. 2 fouls on Barnhart and 2 on Hinton for the Maroons. So their ace, Mark Baugh, with no foul difficulty either. Now we're set to go to the court, and here's Jim Albrecht.
Thanks a lot, Frank. The man joining me to my right, his name is Vernon Drankpool. And Vernon Vernon knows a lot about Illinois basketball state tournaments because this is his 61st. 61. That's longer than Coach Bill Geist has. Maybe more games than he's won. I'm not sure. Just kidding, Bill. Vernon, 61 tournaments. What was the attraction to begin with, just like everybody else, and why stay with it so long?
Well, I was a second stringer on a team in Centralia that won in 1922, and since then I've coached basketball too.
What's the biggest change over the years? I know, back in 1923, people were shooting without leaving the floor. Yeah. Is that the biggest change?
I would say the jump shot in basketball, I think, is the biggest change. And what I kind of get a kick out of saying is 11 years ago when I was interviewed, I made that statement. And 2 years ago, I heard Ray Myers say the same thing. So I like to say Ray Myers agrees with me.
It's nice when people listen to you, isn't it? What about the rule changes over the course of time? You've been around the States. I know you do a lot of traveling. Do you believe in things like shot clock and three-point shots, that sort of thing for high school basketball?
Well, I never was too much for that shot clock, and I don't know about the three-point play, but I know my old coach at Centralia High School, Trout, would have liked it because they really shot long shots and made them.
What about Marcus Liberty and talent like that? Mr. Baugh out here this afternoon for Elgin. Can you believe that players have progressed to that state?
Oh, well, they do a lot of things that we didn't do back then. That's true. A lot of fundamentals, though, are the same, but they're taller. And one thing I don't like I see so much in these state tournaments, these zone defenses. To me, that takes all the pleasure of watching a ball game away, because I think basketball should be a game where they're cutting and breaking, not passing a ball just out around the front of the zone.
Well, Vernon, you enjoy your 61st tournament. We have to take a commercial break here, and we'll see you for number 62 next year, okay?
I hope so, yeah.
All right. That's Vernon Drinkpool, and one of your network sponsors is Country Companies Insurance.
King has won 26 games this year, losing only to Chicago Dunbar twice, Chicago Collins, and Proviso West. The Maroons have won 28 times, losing to Aurora East and Chicago Robeson. So these are two fine basketball teams with only 6 losses between them. Their halftime statistics show King shooting just a bit better, 52-50 from the field, having 3 more shots. Free throwing about a toss-up. The rebound totals start to edging King's way with 16-11. The turnovers about even. The bench points, you'll see that you talked about, Coach Bill Geist. The longer bench of King shows up on the stat sheet.
Yeah, I think the keys for the second half here for Elgin, I think Tim Moritz and Tony Matthews, their guards, have got to contribute a little bit more offensively. They're both good shooters. They've been on the rim the whole first half. They just haven't put enough down. I think they have to put a couple more down the second half. And I think for King, I think it's their defense. I believe their defense makes their offense go. A couple times there, they were all over the court on defense. They'd get turnovers, and it ends up with a layup at the other end. So watch the defense of King and watch Moritz and Matthews for Elgin.
Anything about the tempo of the game that surprised you as you look at the field goal shooting by quarters?
No, because Coach Harrington said he was going to play a little up-tempo if he had the opportunity. I think he, a couple times he made a mistake of bringing it down, and they didn't have the good shot, and they shot it. I think you've got to run on them, but if they get back, now bring it out, set it up, go to your stars, see what you can do. King, that's the tempo they like. They're going to run anytime they have the opportunity, and they're going to pressure you, and so there's no surprise there.
Shooting 29 shots by King attempted, and Elgin 26, so the Maroons came almost up to the level in terms of shooting. The rebounding totals show that King had the good second quarter, out-rebounding Elgin 9-6 and lead by 16-11 mark in the rebounding. Anything else about the stat sheet that you'd point out as a coach at halftime?
Well, no, I'm just looking at Mark Baugh. He's leading him in scoring. He's leading him in rebounds. I mean, of course, that's what you expect of your all-state kid.
Mark Baugh is the all-time leading scorer at Elgin, and he had 23 points in the super sectional, but a thing that caught my eye was he had 6 block shots in that game.
Well, I was going to say that before. You know, he's 6'5", and okay, that's a big kid, but he jumps like he's about 6'8" or 9". He did win the tip from Liberty at the start of the game, so he can leap, and he's a shot blocker and intimidator for Elgin.
There's Landon Cox along with his assistant Benny Parrott over there for the Jaguars. And is there any lack of intensity in a team perhaps that is already the defending state champion in their first round the next year?
You know, I don't know. I was watching King this whole first half, and it almost seems like they're trying to figure out, you know, how good is Elgin? How hard do we have to work? Because they're so talented and they can play very well. And I think we've just seen some spurts of the type of basketball that King can really play. But I think the second half, I think they're going to turn it on a little bit more.
One of the things Landon Cox points out is that Marcus Liberty is accused of not playing hard sometimes, but Cox points out that he is so graceful and it's so easy for him, it doesn't look like he's making any effort.
I have to agree with Coach Cox there. You know, the good players, the real good players, always make it look so easy that it doesn't seem like they're trying.
A player that struck me that way, that had the tragic end to his life, Ben Wilson. At 6'8", about the same size as Liberty, he played with that fluid grace.
You know, when you're good, people expect so much more out of you. And it's hard to give that all the time.
King with a tip-out rebound, but it went long. Matthews got it, and a whistle and a foul on the next rebound, and it goes against the Maroons.
I've been watching Liberty a lot during the first half, and I haven't seen him, quote, dogging it at all. If in fact there are games when he lays back a couple of minutes, I think, you know, many of your great basketball players do that just to kind of refuel themselves. But he hasn't laid back at all today.
I think this is what the main difference between him this year and last year. Last year he would do that, and this year I think he's such a great leader that he's always there when they need him.
His shot is not there. The rebound is battled for. Johnny Selvey, the freshman, slapped. Second tip goes in, and it looked like volleyball. Now it's King by 8, and Elgin needs a hoop this trip down. They get Mike Beck off their bench, a 6'7" sophomore. Into the middle it goes, poked away by King. It's 3-on-2 Jaguars. In second gear is Brandon for the layup.
Oh, this is a great start for King, and this is not what Jim Harrington wanted, and he's showing this with a timeout.
Right away, Elgin is forced to call timeout as King zips to the lead, and we'll be back at the Assembly Hall in a moment. Let's pause for these messages. A reminder, we'll be back tonight, and I'm not sure the tournament has ever seen two bigger teams on the same floor at the same time than the first game tonight, Oak Forest against East St. Louis Lincoln, and then the unbeaten and number 1 rated team in the state, Peoria Manual at 31-0, will face Quincy in the second game tonight. It looks like a great second quarterfinal.
You know, Frank, as far as this game goes, the first couple minutes of the third quarter is so important. I know as a coach, if you're winning, you say, listen, if we start quick, we can open this game up and maybe take it. If you're losing, we got to start quick to get back in the game. Now, King has opened things up a little bit to a 10-point lead, and now they've got the ball again.
Mark Baugh missed the shot, and you almost felt the Maroons would go to their scoring star. Here's Selvey inside and is blocked and fouled by Hinton. And Selvey got his bulk along the baseline and got himself to the basket.
This is quite a power shot. They look up the court and hit the open man well, and he goes in hard. Hinton does what he can, but it's a big, strong kid he's going up against.
Hinton's 175 and Selvey 220. Selvey will shoot a pair of free throws. He made the first two he tried. Third foul on Hinton in the game. Selvey missed that. They have on their roster 6'6", 6'8", 6'7" that don't start, and all about 210.
I don't know if they'd want to transfer out west to Lyle.
I'll imagine a few coaches think like that. And 2 free throws missed gives Elgin a chance to get back within 8. 6:30 in the third quarter. Frank Bissoni and Jim Albrecht, along with Coach Bill Geist of Bennett Academy. Skip pass over the zone. Barnhart handles it. Did a little tightrope walk. Baugh's at the foul line. He turns against Liberty, slings it up off the board.
See, King is playing such very good defense. They're throwing a ball from one side of the court to the other, and King's playing defense on both sides. So I think they did a good job getting it to Baugh for the inside move.
Baugh steals, goes, and scores again.
Great body control.
Yeah, the King player tried to take a charge, but Baugh has such great control of his body that he just avoided him.
17 for Baugh, the scoring leader in the game. And Liberty tries to answer on the other end. He's fouled by Tim Moritz. There's a good look at the co-captain senior. Take a look at this, Coach.
It's a good hustle back play, but he just got his hand in there.
That will give the Jaguars the ball out of bounds.
See the Elgin timeout work. They got 4 quick points. They're back in the ball game.
Here's a whistle on the inbound play, and I think they've got Richard Smith for the foul along the baseline there. Smith, the 6'7" senior. And now Elgin has a chance to cut the lead to 5.
Well, Smith was fighting for position, and he couldn't get it, so he just leveled his opponent, and that will give Elgin a chance to make this a 4-point ball game.
4 is correct. My subtraction isn't at its best this afternoon. It's 37-31 Elgin. 5:45 to go in the third quarter. Now let's see if the Maroons go back to Mark Baugh. He's had their last 2 baskets. Matthews outside, 3-point range. Doesn't go. The ball's tipped right here to us. Off Baugh. It'll go to Martin Luther King. The second appearance in a row, of course. This is the 21st appearance by an Elgin team in the Sweet 16, the 6th in the AA competition. Carl Stanley works in the backcourt with Jamie Brandon. Some people have said Jamie Brandon will be the next superstar in Chicago. He's only a freshman, and he's averaged nearly 16 points a game on the season. Had some big scoring nights. Carl Anderson is 22 outside. That's Stanley inside and rolled home. 5'10" Carl Stanley for 2.
Did you see that tip pass?
Well, the pass was thrown in for Liberty, and the defensive man made a good play, so he just tipped it over to somebody else. Great play.
King concentrating on Baugh. Mark gets the shot off anyway from about hip high and drilled it. 19 for Mark Baugh.
I think that shot's against the law of physics. I'm not sure.
Brandon walk.
See, I've seen Baugh play many times this year, and see, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it makes you smile and light up because it's a heck of a shot, but it's not that unusual for him. He really is quite a player.
Is it my imagination, or if the tempo comes down, Elgin looks better here? I mean, you know, when King's not running, they seem to, that's their instinct is to run.
Leading scorers in the game there, Baugh, 19, and Marcus, 4 less. Moritz fires. Long rebound, Liberty. Look at the kick-out pass. Brandon had it come up on him, and he shoots. Selvey rebounds, missed. Inside position for Elgin, foul on Selvey.
See, that was a good play by Mark Baugh. Selvey had the easy inside shot, and instead of watching the ball, he stepped in front of him to get position just in case he missed. He did miss. Now Baugh's got inside position. He goes up and he drew the foul. That's what Elgin didn't do before when we had that, I don't know if you remember that multiple offensive rebound play that King had early in the first quarter or second quarter, I think it was.
They got 6 cracks at the basket before a foul that one, and King sets essentially in a 2-3 set zone. Elgin gets the ball in the lane to Hinton. Hinton's around 1 block, and Baugh at the high post now. He comes across the lane. He's got it and stripped by Liberty. Liberty has it poked away, but he stays under control. He swirls a 360, goes all the way with the right hand. Oh, in the transition game, Baugh's the other way for a set shot. No. Brandon, this is the tempo King likes. Selvey, nicely done by Matthews. Here comes a stinger on the other end. Boom. All 8 points in the quarter for Elgin by Mark Baugh. He's up to 21. Elgin's within 6. Liberty again all the way. Missed that time. Hinton's got it. The Maroons with some momentum at 3:22 in the third. Matthews outside the J. And it goes out of bounds to King, and a couple of the players look a little winded on the court, including freshman Jamie Brandon of King.
I'm tired just watching them going up and down. Well, this is quite a pace. Here we got a timeout.
Landon Cox thinks so too. 3:15 to go in the third quarter, and it's anybody's game yet. One of your network sponsors, the American Dairy Association of Illinois. 360.
Jerry's getting used to
Make it sound so easy, Jerry.
In the NBA, 6'8" guys can handle a ball like this, but you wonder how many high school players can do it.
It's incredible. You know, you just run out of adjectives to use for these players.
There's the crowd at the Assembly Hall in Champaign-Urbana enjoying March Madness. And Aurora's crowd is trying to keep the momentum on the Maroon side. King has the basketball. Stanley It's it inbounds. King has a 6-point lead. Matthews, a high leaping steal. Good D by Tony Matthews. Right now, what the Elgin Maroons need is their guards to hit a couple of perimeter shots, and they're capable. 18 and 13 in their last game from outside. Matthews goes into Baugh. He whips away to the right. He got it off and didn't get it down, but he got fouled, and he's got a lot of moves in there.
Yeah, and they had patience to get it inside to him, but I'm not sure if you noticed, but when Matthews and Moritz both touched the ball, they weren't really looking at the basket. So right now, I don't think their confidence is where it should be. Maybe as we progress here, they'll get a little, if they can hit one or two, I think they'll be okay.
Well, the play after this free throw on the card written down by the assistant coaches for Elgin is 30 release. Obviously,
us coaches have a lot of codes.
Yeah, what are you guys talking about?
Don't even try to understand it. It's too complicated for you.
Not a lot's complicated for Liberty, who picked up his first foul. Baugh made the free throw.
You guys spend your summers at Nassau or what?
Next one is down by Baugh. Elgin's climbed back within 4. They were down 10 just a moment ago. And there's 2:53 to go in the third quarter. Trapped by Elgin. This is Jamie Brandon. Missed low. Here's Anderson inside. He turns around and missed. The battle on the boards, and the foul is on Anderson of King.
I said the great matchup here is Baugh and Liberty, Baugh guard and Liberty. I don't know if you've noticed, but it's just well, they're staying belly to belly, and it's quite a sight for a coach.
There's a good look at that foul as Anderson came over the back.
Hitting stuck in there, and he went up after the ball, and you can't watch. You got to go after it and keep attacking.
King stays zone. Liberty's in the middle at the back of the 2-3 set. Actually pinches up to make it look like a 2-1-2. Moritz looked at the shot for a hot second there and didn't.
See, King's defense is starting to concentrate more and more on Baugh, but he still got that shot off.
He comes across the lane, gets the ball, and just sticks it, and he has Elgin back within 2 points in this game at 41-39.
The amazing thing about that shot, Frank, was the quick release because Liberty was right in front of him waiting to jump. There's your 30 CF release.
All 12 points in the quarter for Elgin by Baugh, who now has 25 in the game.
Well, we knew we were going to see quite a showing by the Stars, and they haven't disappointed us.
Here's a lob, and Baugh pushed off on Liberty, and Marcus gives the official a little hand clap. In case you joined us late, 6'9" Mike Atkins, the 200-pound senior center of Elgin, is back at his hotel room with a chicken pox, and we certainly feel badly for him. But certainly the Maroons are thankful that he played a part in their season to get him here. Here's the ball downstairs, a little bit of sleepwalking as Johnny Selby found himself alone for a layup.
That was a mental lapse on Elgin's part.
1:56 to go in the third quarter. Elgin down 4 with the ball. Barnhart's going to try from outside. Good. A 2-point game. Moritz goes after the steal. Nice adjustment in the air by Stanley.
I was just going to say, what an athletic move that was. Holy smoke.
How could he not have traveled? Baugh gets his second foul in the last 10 seconds against Liberty. And that's Baugh's third foul in the game. So Baugh with 3, and there's Jim Harrington a little concerned, saying,
well, he might have to switch Baugh off of Liberty. If he doesn't, I'd sure go to Marcus a lot more and try to pick up that other foul.
Liberty has 18 in the game. Some of his shots almost don't touch anything. They go through there so slick. He's just poetry in motion, this young man. A pair for Liberty gives King a 4-point advantage. Now let's see what the tempo does here. It's Elgin. The clock is 1:30, third quarter. Moritz inside to Baugh. He swings around 2 men, finger rolls it up and in, and a count. He is putting on a clinic.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's putting on a show. I think he's used about every shot that he's got so far.
Look at this finger roll.
Well, he's quite an athlete.
If there's one thing that Lou Henson will probably try to teach Liberty, and it's really hard not to do when you're in high school, is wave that arm when you're blocking shots, because that always comes down into somebody else's arm instead of going straight up.
It's a three-point play for Baugh. It's a 1-point lead for King, and Emmett Lynch, the 6'2 senior, comes on for Carl Stanley, and Elgin is right there toward the end of the third quarter.
Elgin's taken off their press. Might be something a little bit different. Looks like they might be in some sort of zone.
1-1-3.
Yeah, I was going to say it usually transfers into a 2-3.
Liberty in traffic. Rolled it off. Baugh forced the board. A lot of strength. 6'5" and 190. Elgin shoots for the lead. Under a minute, they'd like one. Watch King to see if they come out and get him. Here they come already.
They usually do, because they don't like you to do this on them, so they usually switch to a man-to-man, which they have already. And remember, Elgin has tried this twice before and lost the ball both times.
Ball is 40 feet from the basket. Now he moves closer.
Did he look at the hoop?
You have to guard him everywhere now. Inside it goes. 2 men on Baugh. 35 seconds. Inside, Hinton. He's left-handed. Elgin has the lead. And the fans respond. You saw the coaching box put up white for the defense. That's that zone set.
I think what they're trying to do is trying to protect Baugh a little bit with those 3 fouls.
Emmett Lynch is 11. Liberty is on the left side on the low box. This is Brandon. In and out. Baugh rebounds with 4. Elgin doesn't know how much time there is, and they don't get a shot off. But that is the end of 3 frantic quarters, and Elgin has the lead against the defending state champions. We'll be back with the final 8 minutes in a moment. Let's pause for these messages. Frank Bissoni, Coach Bill Geist, and Jim Albrecht back at the Assembly Hall, and Mark Baugh, the scoring leader for the Elgin Maroons, can do more than score, Coach.
Yeah, well, we talk about King's power. Watch this. Goes up hard and both hands on the ball now. He's going to protect it, and they're going to go with it. He's
Mark
their leader
Baugh.
in so many ways.
He has a game-high 28 points, and he can put it home. Watch this.
Yeah, I was waiting for something a little bit fancier than this, but I think he just wanted to be sure he got the 2.
All right, the final quarter in one of these teams' seasons. King is the defending titleist. They're down by 1, and Baugh just stole the ball in front of Liberty.
The change of defense by Elgin to the zone seems to have confused the King just a little bit.
Moritz is open. He goes all the way in, sends it up and missed. Baugh rebounds with Selvey and a whistle. Violation against Elgin. The ball goes to King.
From my angle, it looked like 2 people on the ball, possibly a jump ball, but let's see what we've got here. That should be a jump ball.
He must have thought, the official must have thought 2 players on the same, on Elgin's team had it. King has the ball, down 1.
Easy for us to say, Frank.
Well, he might not have had the good angle or whatever.
Selvey. Offensive foul, King.
That's a gutsy play on Barnhart's part. That's a big boy in there, and he just stepped in front of him to take the charge.
So the foul is on Selvey, and checking into the game for King, 22, Carl Anderson, the 6'8 senior.
You know, momentum has really swung to Elgin, and what I would really look for now with King is to get them to get the ball to Liberty, because he's their leader. He's got to get them back into the, or not into the game, but back into the lead. And I think with his leadership, maybe it'd loosen up the King players a little bit.
Matthews at point guard. Barnhart has the ball stripped from him, and a jump ball, a good defensive play by Carl Anderson, who just came in the game.
King just switched defenses, too. They played a man-to-man. They've been playing a zone the whole game, except for this time down now.
Possession to Elgin, as you see the alternating possession arrows. We have a new hardwood floor here at the Assembly Hall, and there's fans along courtside for the first time. Matthews inside. Now Hinton. He goes in. Left-hander is good. Steve Hinton worked the baseline to the joy of the Elgin crowd. It's the Maroons by 3. Emmett Lynch. You heard the reaction of the crowd.
Well, the ball came up a little high on Emmett, but he kept his hand on top of it. That was a good play.
This is Anderson. He's 10 feet along the baseline to Brandon for the pop. Tipped by Smith once. Rebound, Smith, good.
See, I don't want Brandon shooting that shot if I'm Coach Cox. I want the ball in Liberty's hands. because as we've said before, he can shoot, but he can also pass.
Tim Morris passes up a shot, and Baugh goes across the lane and sets up. He's being guarded by Richard Smith, man-to-man. Barnhart comes into the lane. Hanger, good.
Barnhart's really a blue-collar type player.
I was going to say, you'd probably like him in your gym.
Yeah, he just does things that help the team. Nothing fancy, doesn't look real good doing it, but it helps the team.
Elgin ran a second man at the ball. That shook Brandon free along the baseline. He got it up and in, and he fouled.
Big play, big play.
That was a difficult shot. Not only was there a hand on the ball, Frank, but the angle was he had to reverse it back in and put the spin off the glass, and I don't know how it fell in, but it did.
We'll take a look at it here, and their strength is part of this, Coach.
Oh, sure. Horses it up right here, takes the contact, and gets a friendly roll.
And has a chance to tie the game at 50. The foul is on Hinton, his 4th foul in the game. Jamie Brandon, a freshman, ties the game with a couple of friendly rolls. And Mike Beck, 6'7" sophomore. Hinton goes out. He's played very well, but he's with 4 personals.
Well, and he needs a breather, too. Got some tired players out here right now. The King is coming out in a little press, a little diamond and one.
On the 3-quarter court, approximately here. Lynch in the backcourt along with Stanley. Here's a steal by Smith. He was laying in wait for that ball, and now King has a chance to take the lead back.
Well, Matthews telegraphed the pass because he threw it one-handed.
King has turned away Lincoln and Rock Island and Collins and Simeon and all the public league teams. And Elgin has him tied with 5:40 to go. Fouls on Barnhart of Elgin there, talking to the official.
He got tangled up with Liberty along the left baseline, and a few elbows got loose.
Jim Harrington from Illinois Benedictine, class of 73. Spent 7 years at Chicago Weber. He was in the Super in '84, lost there, and this is the famous Marcus Liberty. He will play for Lou Henson at Illinois. That's a good recruiting year if you don't get another person that can dribble the ball. Liberty gives the lead back to King with his 20th point. He averages 27. A 2-point King lead. Now will Elgin answer again? Elgin was 10 down, then took the lead by 3. Now it's King by 2.
The official just missed the backcourt.
Mark Baugh up and missed. Big rebound, Anderson. Way ahead of the pack is Stanley. All the way. Missed. A technical foul on Marcus Liberty. Hanging on the rim.
That was a great play to follow it up, but he missed the shot and hung on the rim.
Watch the play. Stanley goes in for the layup, and no. There.
It's good hustle by Tim Moritz, and I think that's why Stanley decided to make the difficult angled layup, or at least try.
Yeah, instead of just going in and taking an easy shot, he made a hard shot of it, and I think he was worried about somebody coming from behind and blocking the shot.
And in Liberty's defense, there's a lot of bodies under there. I just don't think he wanted to come down crashing on the floor.
Steve Hinton checked back in for the Maroons, and Mark Baugh will shoot the technical free throw. 29 for Baugh. Watch it.
He had the easy shot, and he did a kind of a double pump shot, and here comes Liberty over. Might have been a little worried about somebody undercutting him.
5:20 to play in the game. King by 1. Elgin could take the lead. Baugh has been the money man with 29 points to lead all scorers. Barnhart is stripped but fouled by Emmett Lynch.
Tough call, tough call.
And Barnhart handling the ball out on the front court. Has 59% as a mark from the foul line as Coach Cox looks on.
You know, Coach Cox has made some interesting moves there the last couple minutes. He changed his defense to a man-to-man, then he came out in the diamond and 1 3/4 court press, and those moves, I think, have helped King a lot.
The ball on the floor. King's got it, as Elgin couldn't cash the foul line. There's still plenty of time in the game. 5 minutes left. Smith out of his range. Liberty's never out of his. He punches it downstairs, and a layup for Anderson.
This is what I was saying. Get the ball into Liberty's hands, because if he won't put it in for you, he's going to get it to somebody for an easy shot.
It's a 3-point King lead now, and Elgin has to fight back again. Double team job by King. Steals the ball. 3-on-2 King. Lynch. Wisely holds it up. King by 3. Smith, their center, has come outside, and in goes Liberty. He's free. Left-handed shot. He is not left-handed. Anderson. Along the baseline, Anderson hammered it in, and King leads by 5. From 5 up ahead is Hinton, who is hanging in the air and fouled by Marcus Liberty. Now remember, a technical foul isn't a personal foul, so that's 3 on Liberty.
Look on this play that the official kind of anticipated a foul. There's no foul there.
Steve Hinton, 63% successful at the foul line, will shoot 2. Now he'll try to get the Maroons to within 3 points in this game. Elgin's free throwing has hurt them here.
This time of game, Frank, you know, the timeout situation is important. You know, I'm not keeping track. How many timeouts do Elgin and King have? Do we have that information?
King with the ball. Elgin 1 for 5 at the foul line, 1 for 4 at the foul line here in this quarter. Down 5. See if King is patient. Smith outside. Liberty comes to help. Makes his move and fades off balance. Shot is rebounded long by Baugh. And Elgin looks to try to get that 2-pointer now.
Now that's really 2 bad shots in a row for Marcus Liberty. That's got to be a record for him, because he just doesn't do that.
Moritz sends the ball into Baugh. Steps in, puts it up, missed it. Rebound Barnhart. Slings it up and missed. Ooh, big rebound by Anderson. Jerked it out of the air.
Right now they're all big rebounds.
3 timeouts left for King, 2 for Elgin.
I think the 2 for Elgin is important, because they're down 5 now. King's in their delay game. Coach Harrington might have to call a timeout just to give his kids a breather.
And of course, with Marcus Liberty at 6'8", he's liked having another guard and his ability to handle the basketball. Here's Lynch inside, free.
See, the delay game is either you come and get us, we shoot free throws, or we shoot layups. Here's the timeout from Elgin.
Exactly at the 3-minute mark with King in the lead. Elgin calls time. We'll be back. One of your network sponsors is John Deere. Tonight in our second quarterfinal, Oak Forest will go against East St. Louis Lincoln in our first game, followed by Peoria Manual and Quincy in the second. With this one, there's 3 minutes left to go in the game. Call timeout. There is Jim Harrington. What's he saying?
Well, number 1, he wanted to give his kids a breather. Number 2, evidently King is going to stay in their delay game. They've got to try to put some pressure on the ball and yet still protect the basket, because they can't give up layups. He might go to some full court pressure if he scores, but the most important thing, of course, is the first score. If you can't score, then you know you're not going to catch up on them.
Timeouts remaining there with King holding 3, Elgin but 1. It's a 1-2-2 zone set for King this time, as Coach Cox changes the defense again. Baugh flashes into the lane. They'll probably try to go to him as much as they can. King has had all kinds of trouble defending him. Here he comes, and it's a foul. With no indication on who yet. It's on King. It's on Carl Stanley, the 5'10 junior, picked it up.
I think he reached in from the outside. It wasn't Selvey was guarding Baugh, and he tried to take the charge, but I think the foul occurred before all that.
Mark Baugh with a game-high 29. Stanley. And it's 30 points for Mark now. King 58, Elgin 52, and Elgin certainly has a chance in this game with 2:46 to go. They're only 6 down.
Oh, yeah.
Rebound drop by Selvey, out of bounds. A big break for Elgin.
So you always have a chance, because little things like just happen right there can always go your way. You never know.
Well, Elgin's missed 3 of their last 4 free throws, and that could tell something down the stretch. They've really rallied well, though, without their center, who is out with the chicken pox.
Here's a lob inside to Baugh. He catches it, forces it up. No. Rebound Selvey, stripped away by Barnhart. It's Moritz taken back by Selvey as the defense takes over. That ball was bounced out of bounds off Barnhart's leg by Selvey to King.
A couple of nice opportunities for Elgin there that didn't quite cash in on. You know, some of these missed free throws too could be a little fatigued because it's been a hard-fought game for him. And the first thing to go when you're tired is that shooting touch.
There you see the assistant coaches over on the maroon bench with the sign blue indicating the defense. It's a 1-3-1 on the half court.
Right, this is their half court trap that they like to use. The only problem is they got Liberty down there in the corner and they get him the ball. Here it is.
Liberty had pointed for the lob and he got it. Couldn't quite control it, but he was fouled by Hinton. And if it is on Hinton, he's gone.
Well, Hinton tried the best he can, but Liberty went real hard for the basket. We had really a nice pass, too. See, here it is. He goes up hard. Hinton couldn't do anything but foul him.
Hinton at 6'3", trying to guard Liberty on the baseline at 6'8", has fouled out with 8 points and played very well.
Very gutsy game. Very gutsy game.
Hinton will undoubtedly be replaced by Mike Beck, as Elgin hasn't gone deep into their bench.
Frank, I don't know if the fans know what's going on here. We had a fouled out player. They have 30 seconds to replace him. So if the coach wants to talk to his team, he can within those 30 seconds.
Barnhart checks in, of course.
Here's a different camera angle on this. You see how high Liberty gets. Gosh,
wow.
His elbows were over the rim.
Painful, isn't it?
It was. Jim used to jump like that in his younger days.
Yeah. If somebody scared me, maybe.
You ever fall out of a tree?
Well, he could never play basketball because he didn't know those codes of everybody. He couldn't remember that. But he could jump.
Liberty has the free throw roll in. And another. He missed that time. Ball's got the rebound. Elgin's in the game, 7 down. They need to score. This is Tony Matthews. He had 18 points in the super sectional win over Aurora East. Ball at the high post, guarded by Liberty now. Good defense by King. Ball catches it. 2-3 players around him. He sends it up, blocked by Liberty. Tipped out by Lynch. He's home free. King by 9.
See, they're really crowding around Ball in the middle, and there was a good example of it.
Matthews pulls up and fires a miss. Baugh tips at the ball, out of bounds. King, and they have the hammer with 1:45 to go.
See, this is really what's hurt Elgin, I think, is the inability of Moritz and Matthews to hit that outside shot.
Going out of the game now for King is Carl Anderson, and Selvey, the freshman, checks back into the game. Barnhart quickly fouls Selvey, and that's not a bad play because Selvey's a 49% foul shooter.
Well, Barnhart just did what the coach told him to do. They wanted to foul on Selvey because he is a poor free throw shooter. What they're hoping now is that being 9 down, that he'll miss the free throw, they'll give him an opportunity to score at the other end. Now, that's his 4th foul, though. We can't have too much more of that. But, you know, if your players foul out, so what? You still got to give it your best shot and give yourself a chance to win.
Selvey's shot is home.
The best strategy. Well, like you said before, I think it doesn't make any difference what the season stats say. You get on this floor and you never know what's going to happen. That showed great concentration that time.
Selvey averages 8 points, and he's 9 in this one. He made them both, and he gives King an 11-point lead in the game with 1:40 to play. So it looks like St. Joe's will play King, and Barnhart missed, but Baugh slam dunk. And a quick whistle timeout called by Elgin. That will be their final timeout. There's 1:34 to play, and Baugh just came from nowhere to slam this.
There he
Watch
is,
here.
right on the left wing, and he takes the shots a little hard, but he comes in to follow up.
Now, fans might be wondering about the grabbing of the rim there. Now, watch this.
Well, see, this is what I said before about Liberty. He might have been worried about somebody undercutting him. That's why he hung on to the rim.
Looks like
see, right there, I think he hung on to the rim because he was worried about where he was going to come down.
He almost came down on his teammate, Barnard.
Well, yeah, see, the rule, I believe, and don't quote me on any of these rules, but I think the rule allows you to do that if you're in danger of coming down on somebody. And maybe they were a little quick with that tee on Liberty. I don't know, because it seemed like he had the same situation.
Well, usually if you...
You know what I like about that? It seemed like Ball got the ball, and then he just went higher. You know? He just went up and up and up till he was over the rim.
Am I mistaken, but I hardly ever seen a technical called if the ball goes through. It's always called when the ball misses, almost all the time.
You could be wrong, but I don't know. I never noticed that. That's a good point.
32 points for Mark Baugh out of 54 in a great exhibition here at the Assembly Hall for the senior 6'5"er.
He's got how many to say? 32?
32. He had 39 in the super sectional game, so he's lit it up at the right time of the year. Of course, he hasn't been shabby all season at 24 and a half. Now Elgin will need turnovers.
The Kings' foe right now is the clock. All they want to do is have that clock roll down.
As you see, the clock in the right-hand corner of your screen. Ball inbound. Lynch is double-teamed, triple-teamed, and fouled. Tony Matthews picks it up, and Emmett Lynch shoots 64% at the foul line, walks that way. You wonder what there can be in basketball rules or adjustments to keep the end of lots of games from being free throw shooting contests.
Well, you know, that's been suggested. You know, Dick Vitale says, why shoot free throws? Why not just have the option of taking the ball out of bounds? Well, what are you going to have then? They're just going to keep on fouling because they're going to go after the ball. If you want them just to go down and give up, no team's going to do that.
And that was exactly what Elgin wanted to happen. They got the ball on the missed free throw. But Carl Stanley picked Moritz's pocket, and now they have to foul again. This time it's Lynch once more.
See, part of the game is your ability or inability to make free throws when it counts under pressure. And I'll tell you, the kids grow up pretty quick when they're on, you know, playing for a state championship or down here in the Elite Eight, and they got to go to the line in a pressure situation to make free throws. So, you know, that's part of the game. I wouldn't want that changed any more than these other rules.
Well, I was just going to say, this evening we're going to talk about a call-in line that fans can call in and voice their opinion about a three-point play in high school, and I think it's appropriate for a coach to give his opinion about it.
And I think all the conservative people out there, I want to call in because there's a lot of radicals down here that want this three-point shot, and yeah, we are going to talk about that later, I guess, and I'm not a big believer in it.
Here's a bad pass by Elgin.
It's a good pass right to us, Frank. What are you talking about? We were open.
And Elgin trying to get the ball to half court with the first pass, turns it over. And Chicago King is on its march to the semifinals.
Now the ball goes underneath the basket because on the inbound pass was never touched by anybody. So it goes back to where it was taken out.
Marcus Liberty, number 30. Here's a nice steal by Matthews. He anticipated very well on that play. And look how quick Emmett Lynch is. He got the ball, and he fouled Matthews. And that's one thing that Landon Cox didn't want to have happen.
No, but I don't think he's too upset now. There's only a minute 10 to go. And I think if that would be a little closer, he would have been a little upset with the call because I thought that was a little touchy. Looked like he made a pretty good steal.
Carl Anderson will check back in for Selvey in the game. They've exchanged lots of times in this game. Selvey, the freshman.
Well, it seems like when he makes a freshman mistake, he comes out and coach tells him about it, and then he'll send him back in. And then he plays pretty well for a while, and then he loses his concentration, and then does something else wrong. Coach takes him out again.
Matthews missed the free throw, and he quickly fouled Jamie Brandon. And so the fouls mounting up on the Maroons here as they try to get back in the game. 107. Third foul on Tony Matthews. He had highs of 27 points and 22 during the regular season. Brandon shows a good deal of poise on the court. Freshman at 6'3", 190.
Well, he doesn't make the types of mistakes that Johnny Selvey has made this afternoon. He seems to be a much more steadier player, and consequently, I don't know if he's been out of the game. He's really played most of the game.
And you notice Liberty talking to Brandon and Selvey a lot during the game, during the warm-ups and so forth. The senior leader.
Right, exactly right.
Clock moves to a minute as Baugh
Well, no, that pass was to Barnhart. The ball was so quick, he got it and went up to dunk it.
Matthews a quick foul at 57 seconds. Elgin's within 10 points, but the clock is only with 3 seconds under a minute to play in the game.
You guys were talking about freshman mistakes. Brandon made one that time because he missed the second free throw and he didn't get back on defense.
See Barnhart
he kind of stepped
underneath there, 42. I mean, it was really to him, but Boy just saw the ball, and when he sees the ball, his eyes light up and he goes after it.
34 points for Mark Ball. Free throw is missed, but Anderson rebounds. His shot is short. His next one is 2, but he was fouled. And we got 3 seconds off the clock before the next foul that time. So King, in their second consecutive appearance here and shooting for their second straight state title. You'll see another well-publicized performer in the first game this evening in LaFonso Ellis, the 6'9.5" center for East St. Louis Lincoln.
Well, we've got them every game, don't we?
Oh, well, their baseline is 6'9.5", 6'8", and 6'7". They all weigh about 220 or 225.
In every game we've got down here, we've got a couple stars. I mean, it's worth the price of admission, every one of them.
Oak Forest has 2 players, 6'8", 230, and 220. Matthews erased by Marcus Liberty. And the ball bounced out of bounds. Elgin wanted goaltending on Liberty.
That would, I think, was a good block. A heck of a block.
Well, let's see. Marcus Liberty on the D. Return to sender.
Yeah, he got it going up.
Let's see if he's out of bounds. Right there was his foot on that end line. And now Liberty with the ball is fouled, and he'll go to the line. A 2-shotter. 40 seconds to play in the game. That means the ball to King also.
Yes, it does. Maybe the official's getting a little tired of the fouling. I don't know. looked like he was going after the ball to me.
King has shot 9 more free throws and made twice as many as Elgin in the game.
Yeah, it's a little misleading because of the fact we've had so many in the last couple minutes here. But I think the officials did a heck of a job. This is not the easiest game in the world to officiate, and they've really done a nice job.
Liberty, 22 points in the game. Doesn't show emotion, just skill.
He's been around so long. He's been through just about everything a high school player can go through that, you know, he just does his job out there, and he does it very, very well.
11 points, the King advantage. And now the Jaguars keep the ball. Of course, the 2-shot foul is ruled intentional. 2 shots and the ball. Liberty dishes. Smith steps in. Missed. And a charging foul on Smith.
Barnhart picking up another charge. He really sacrifices his body for the good of the team, I'll tell you that.
6'3" and 180. If he was injured playing this game, you just don't know it.
He's going to be a sore hombre after this game, I'll tell you that.
Under a half minute. Barnhart's in the lane. He goes all the way. Nice rebound by the sophomore Beck. Nice bounce. He didn't put the ball on the floor. Got it back in the basket. 20 seconds. King by 9. Liberty weaves through 2. Blows by a third. Wheels the pass to Selvey. And Beck fouled him.
Little fancy dance stuff by Marcus.
Well, Barnhart and Marcus Liberty were picking each other up off the floor after this play, and they were very cordial about it.
Yeah, well, Barnhart tried to pick up another charge, and it didn't work, and it's just great sportsmanship that the players help each other up. They know, you know, they're both playing hard. They both want to win, and you do what you have to.
Mr. Ball will check out now, and what a game he had, huh?
Spectacular performance by Mark Baugh. Truly great player. Brian Simic, 6'1" senior, checks in the game. 33 is there. And 34, Chris Tierney, a 6'1" senior, also in the game for Elgin. A couple of seniors come in. And there for King, 25, Terrence Cheek, 6'2" junior, checks in the game. Michael King gets off the bench, 6'7", 200, a junior.
You know, this sets up an interesting matchup tomorrow.
Oh,
St.
wow.
Joe's and King. Then you have the quick, good shooters against the huge.
You bet. There's Barnhart coming out. Nice hand. 12, Corey Johnson, 5'10" senior on for Elgin. Players deserve a lot of credit getting their teams here to the Assembly Hall. Only 8 can make it this far. Only 4 play tomorrow. King has Terrence Cheeks over to Smith. Selvey inside. He's got a layup. Johnny Selvey putting a little frosting on the King victory with 3 seconds. 2, 1. Johnson at the buzzer, and that's the ball game. Chicago King has advanced with a win over Elgin. Final score, King 70 and Elgin 58. As you said, Coach Bill Geist, St. Joe's, who played superbly well in the first game today, will now crack heads with the public league champion and defending champion of this tournament.
Well, they're going to need all those shooting skills, too, because they certainly don't match up with the power and the strength and the size of King inside. It's going to be interesting to see how King will match up with the quickness of St. Joe's. But I'm looking forward to that one already.
Well, and also we'll have tonight for you 2 games that we'll really look forward to, because we'll feature tremendous size. Oak Forest, 6'8", 230, 6'8", 220, good players. Gorman with the fractured finger will play in that first game at 7 o'clock. And then we'll follow with Quincy, always a traditional power in the state, always a good basketball team. Jerry Leggett brings the team at 25-5. Dick Van Sciok brings Peoria Manual in at 31-0, and they have played everybody well. So that's tonight's matchup for today. The winners, St. Joseph and defending champion King. For Jim Albrecht and Coach Bill Geist, Frank Bissoni. We'll see you tonight. So long, everybody.
You've been watching the 1987 chapter of March Madness.